Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And welcome to church. I love speaking in churches because purpose really is, it's really the biggest religion in the world. The word religion actually comes from the Latin religare, which means to reconnect everything. And I believe actually that the Big Bang was the disbursement of God's particles. And that when they are reconnected, religare, then we will have what we've always imagined, a world full of hope and humanity, benevolence, and most important, courage. Because without courage, we can't find our purpose. Courage is I guess for me, courage is the power of life to affirm itself against all the desires and anxieties that we are faced with every single day, and unfortunately, in the middle of the night. Courage, from the French word liqueur, which means heart. And that's all you got to know. That our job as human beings is to move from the mind to the heart. And in that path, we will find treasures and nuggets and love that we've never even imagined. But most importantly, you will find yourself. I want to tell you a quick story about finding yourself and purpose, a story that I hope you can relate to and take with you when you leave this church. There was a young woman, an amazing woman, African-American woman, 7 years old. She wanted to dance. Her parents said, "Dance. We will send you to the best dance teachers." Her mother got a second job so they could put her through dance school, and she became one of the most remarkable dancers in the world. When she was 19 years old, she got a call from the Apollo Theater in Harlem, New York. And they offered her an invitation to come and dance in front of 3,500 people, including reporters and her parents, and her cousins, and her nieces, and nephews. They all came. The place was packed. There was standing room only. And this woman was about to take the stage and change the world with her feet. She comes out. They announce her. The band strikes up, and she is about to take her first step when she goes to a microphone and says, "Mom, Dad, I'm not gonna dance." And the place sounded just as uproarious as it sounds now. And she went back to the microphone and said, "But I do want to sing a song." And Ella Fitzgerald belted out a song that would change the tune and melody of humanity. This is courage. Courage to do the thing that you fear the most on behalf of what the most you can do for humanity. This is courage, and this was her purpose. And after 19 years of being told what her dream was, what her path would be, what her destiny could be, she had the courage to say, "No, this is not my dream. It's your dream." And how many of you here are living the dreams of someone else, whether it's your peers, your professors, your teachers, God love them, your parents. But they're their dreams, not yours. And the one thing stopping you between your dreams and theirs is one word from the French liqueur called courage. One act, one purpose. And frankly, purpose, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to come up with. You saw Mahatma Gandhi there. I took his grandson out for dinner after my last book called Thumbs Up, because he wrote the foreword. Arun Gandhi wrote the foreword in the book, and I was honored. I wanted to take him out to dinner, and I wanted to talk to him about his grandfather. Well, I took him to a steak restaurant, which was a big problem. But once I got through that gaffe, we had a marvelous dinner. And I said to him, Arun, did your grandfather have a purpose that he ever shared with you? Like, did he write it down or something? And Arun Gandhi pulls out his wallet. Well, you are too young to know the word glassine, but he had a glassine envelope, which is that old plastic envelope, and he had a piece of paper in it, and it said his purpose. He had written his purpose down and given it to his grandson before he died. And it said to wipe every tear from every eye. That was Mahatma Gandhi's purpose. It's a tough one to beat. And I asked Arun, I said, well, what happened? He said, well, he felt that he failed. And that's the beauty of purpose, that it is not something like a goal or an aspiration that turns into an expiration. It's something that guides you through your entire life and gives you the courage to act in the face of desires and anxieties. Now, purpose doesn't just happen with people, but the people in organizations also bring purpose to the party. And I'll tell you one just quick story about a company. I was invited by Procter & Gamble 15 years ago when I just had a meeting with the head of Home Depot talking about purpose, and they thought I was trying to sell them multi-purpose cleaner. That's how far back this goes. And the Procter & Gamble people said, can you come up and talk to our 311 brand people, who run all the brands, about purpose? And I said, absolutely. I go up there, and it's funny, every time I'm standing near the stage, it reminds me of when I was standing backstage at Procter & Gamble, and the stage manager said to me, by the way, Mr. Reiman, I just looked at your purpose slides. I have no idea what you're talking about. And people at Procter & Gamble hate other people unless they're Procter & Gamble people. So I don't know what you're talking about, but I just want to tell you, no offense, and I hope doesn't upset you, but this will probably be the worst speech of your life. Okay, you're on. Well, I went on, and everybody back then, by the way, this is so long ago, there were no iPhones. It was all BlackBerries, and everybody's rolling their eyeballs, and they're on their BlackBerries. People are walking out. Just walking out. I haven't even said a word yet. And I think, oh my God. Okay, so I said, welcome everyone. I just have 2 questions. No, I have 3 questions, and then I'm going to let you go. And then more people walked out. So the first question is, what did the founders of Procter & Gamble make? And I will tell you that all 311, well, actually 297, because that's how many people had walked out. They all were candles and soap, you idiot. That was underneath, you idiot. Candles and soap, it was a Greek chorus, tragic Greek chorus. And I thought, this is the worst speech I'm crashing and burning. I've read about this stuff. This is why public speaking is second to death as far as fears. And I see more people walking out, and I go, excuse me, I have one more. Actually, it's number 2 question. Second question, please don't hold the door. And I said this, why? Why candles and soap? Not one hand went up, including the CEOs. Not one hand could explain to me, oh yeah, what we do, where we're doing it, but why? No way. They didn't know their why. So I told them. I said, your founders, Billy and Jimmy, William and James, Procter and Gamble, they wanted to make it big in America. So they got together, a Scottish guy and an Irish guy, and they said, let's get on a boat and let's take America by storm. And this is more than 100 years ago. They get on a boat, they're really excited, and then William meets Rose. Well, now people are like coming back into the door. I'm talking about romance. There's a little more activity going on. William meets Rose. They fall madly in love, madly in love. And then one night, about 3 days into the journey, William says, I feel so guilty, Rose. I really do. You know, I came with my friend. He's in the bunk there downstairs and under sea level. I feel like I need to spend more time with him. We're going to start a big company. And Rose says, I got some great news. I have a twin sister. Her name's Olivia, and she's in the room right now. And they are so excited. And Olivia comes up and meets William, and the four of them, they're just madly in love. It's like the Titanic, but it doesn't go down. It's like Love Boat. It's remarkable. I mean, what one can only imagine what's happening on that boat in the middle of the ocean with these 20-year-old, like what millennials were back then, but they were just so in love. And they just loved being at sea. And when they got to the United States, they said, let's keep going, because Rose and Olivia were from Cincinnati, so they invited William and James to come with them. But Rose got sick. She had to get off the boat. And of course, Olivia followed, and they said, we'll meet you in Cincinnati. He said, no. William James said, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to take care of you. And they went, and she got better. And then they took another trip down the Cincinnati River. I can only imagine what happened then. I mean, this is already a week and a half. And when they got off the boat, the most remarkable thing happened. And by the way, now, the Procter & Gamble people, they're blackberrying everybody, and the place is packed. You can't get into the room. I'm going, I think I'll just stop now and gloat. So they go to the parents, the in-laws' house, and the father-in-law to be says, what are you guys going to do now that my daughters are off my payroll and on yours? Because guess what? 2 nights before that dinner, both guys, Billy and Jimmy, asked Olivia and Rose to marry them. Wow. And you thought, what, candles and soap? So the father-in-law says, so what is it, guys? And both guys say, we're going to create a company called Procter & Gamble. Really? Okay, good. No, you didn't get it. Procter & Gamble. I got Procter & Gamble. What are you guys making? We don't know. We have no idea. But it's going to be called Procter & Gamble. And this father-in-law to be doesn't have any patience for this kind of poppycock. That's probably what he called it. I think that was a word back then. And he says, why don't you guys go away and come back to me and talk to me about what you guys are going to do? Okay, but Dad, Procter & Gamble. And they come back, and they have dinner 3 weeks later. He says, Dad, Mom, Olivia, Rose, we're going to make candles and soap. And the father and mother start to cry. Last question to the 311 smartest people in the entire world at Procter & Gamble. Why did they cry? Not one hand went up, and I thought, okay, I'm taking another 30 seconds here. I'm just going to let everyone sit. And I told them what they had told him, which is the United States was in the middle of a civil war. Both northern soldiers and southern soldiers were dying. Thousands dying from 2 things that were killing them. Darkness. That was a strategy during the Civil War. Blow the lights out, then we can get them. Blow the lights out, and then we can kill them. The other, dysentery, because if you were to be shot, there wasn't the penicillin they needed. There wasn't the nurses, the doctors. So dysentery became a weapon. Darkness and dysentery. And these 2 guys, this Irish and Scottishman say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make soap to destroy dysentery, to wipe out that thing that was killing people, dysentery. And then they were going to make candles to blind the darkness. Candles and soap. That's what Procter & Gamble would be based on. 2 products that would not just market a company, not just inspire the people who would engage with the company, but actually heal the world. A marketer that heals the world from 150 years ago? Wow! And every single brand stood up and said, I want to do that. Secret deodorant. It was a deodorant doing $2.3 billion. I asked them what their purpose was. They said to be rockalicious. What's that? Maybe somebody can explain it to me. They explained it to me. They said, oh, we're going to put a diamond or an emerald or ruby in the deodorant so when she is rubbing herself, she'll find a gem. And I went, ouch, you know? And that's not a purpose. I learned later that from the founders, 2 women wanted a symbol from the Greek word symbolion, which means to take heaven and earth and pull it together and throw it back out there. They wanted a symbol for women moving into the workplace for the first time in the 1950s, and they created this secret that would be a secret for women to have a symbol, to have a flag, to have the energy, the power, the faith to move into a workplace that they had never even been there before. And I went, oh my God, wait, rockalicious, helping women become more fearless, which one is a purpose? And they agreed, maybe helping women become more fearless could be a cool thing. And then at that moment, because God works in these ways, and you all know this, I got a call from Diana Nyad, the woman who wanted to swim from Cuba to Florida. I had been on a board of directors with her. She was asking me what I was doing with purpose. I said, I have an idea. You want to swim from Cuba to Florida. Why are you calling me? Well, I'm calling you for money, Joey. Okay, so how much money do you need? I need $50,000, and I can leave Cuba. I can jump off. I could swim to Florida. I could help women become more fearless. I said, great. Let me call the brand manager at Procter & Gamble. It's a $2.3 billion. Hello, brand manager, I need $50,000. Oh, for what? Really, $50,000? This woman wants to swim and help women become more fearless? They agreed. They gave her the money, but she was pulled out of the water, if you all remember. Box jellyfish almost killed her. She called me back. Procter called me back and said, how come she got stung? I said, are you serious? Okay. Oh, my God. I said, we need another $50,000. And this would happen 2 or 3 more times. Hurricane pulled her out. More box jellyfish. They bit her lips so badly and her nose she couldn't breathe. She had to be resuscitated. Procter & Gamble goes, why did she have to be resuscitated? Please, are you serious? I said, let's put up a website and let's watch her swim. This will happen. And we put up a website to help women become more fearless. Not to be rockalicious. Not to be rockalicious. And that website, in the next 2 years, would become the #2 fastest growing website in the world. Why? Because all women, many women, wanted to do what they felt was fearless, so they sent her shark repellent, they sent her good sunny skies, they sent her goodwill, they sent their hearts. And that website became the #2 largest Facebook page in the world. And finally, she made it 5 years later. And guess what? 5 years later, Procter & Gamble looked at the website. There were over 2 million women talking about what would help them become more fearless, more courageous. That is the role of marketers tomorrow, to provide courage. Liqueur, from the French heart. Marketers are no longer just sellers. They are healers. And this is the role of all marketing tomorrow. And that is why my partner, Brad Siegel, who's here today, Lindsay Cragdon, who's here today, got together and said, what can we do now that everyone knows that purpose is not just a multi-purpose cleaner? What can we do as an organization to actually inspire the world with meaningful stories that impact our lives? What can we do? And we started a company called Brand New World Studios. It's only a week old. This is the first time I'm actually talking about it on any stage, in any venue. But it is a story, it is an amazing story because it's the first film company in the world that will take a company's purpose and turn it into a story. Turn it into a story that inspires us, a story that we recognize because we're in the movie. This is not product placement, this is purpose placement. This is marketer not as seller, but marketer as healer. And marketers, I'm happy to say, are stepping out, even as we speak, saying, I want to make a movie about our purpose. I want to make a movie about our raison d'etre. I want to make a movie that will inspire people, not conspire against people. That's the role and the future of marketing. And, you know, I love the name Creative Mornings because that's where it all begins. It begins every morning. And what I wish for all of you is that every morning you tap into that courage so that brand new world can tell your story. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Joey.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very kind. Thank you.
We're going to do some Q&A now, so if you have a question, throw your hand up. I'll run the microphone to you, and we'll have some time to do some Q&A.
Yes. I was hoping that somebody would ask because I kept twirling it. Thank you for
asking. Can you
asking.
ask again here?
I said, what's the stick for? And I would be that person to ask.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I've never told anyone what the stick is for, but I'm going to tell you all now. When I was 25 years old, I went to a sort of like this sort of ranch, you know, to find out who I was going to be and what I was going to do. And this is called a prayer arrow. It's an American Indian concept. And basically, you take papyrus and you spend half a morning sketching or writing what you want to happen in your life. And then you spend the rest of the day doing this. It's got 3 layers, and then there's this arrow, this stone. It's a Native American custom. And apparently, if you do this with heart, with soul, with courage, with sincerity, it comes true. And inside this, on the papyrus, written when I was 26, was I want to make movies that help humanity. So that's why I brought it out today, because I thought I haven't brought this out, and I just found it. Isn't it weird how you find things? I just found it a couple days ago, and I went, oh my God, Creative Mornings. So thanks for that question. I would have had to have asked myself the question in front of all of you without that. Yeah, sir.
I assumed it was your Moses staff. Another question right here.
As far as marketing is concerned, what has been your greatest challenge changing a narrative?
Changing the narrative of marketing?
Well, in entering a space where people think a certain way and you're trying to shift their narrative, what is your greatest challenge doing that?
Well, the notion that you can't get enough of what you don't need is a problem. Because if you think about it, you can't get enough of what you don't need. You don't need many of the things that we have in the world of marketing. I mean, there are really basically 5. There's wood, cotton, steel. I think there's 6 or 7 products, and then the 77,000 other products are all made out of those 6. So, whoa, that's a crazy industry we're in. However, I do believe that marketers can be healers, that they don't have to sell stuff, that, that good business or goods and services can actually create good and service. So if you take the S's off goods and services and you get good and service, that's the future of marketing. And that's the hope. And we're not there yet, but my colleagues, the people who have followed Bright House, who have followed Brand New World Studios, who've read my books and my colleagues' books, they're starting to get an idea. Millennials, 91% of them will switch from one product to another if that product has a greater purpose than just profit. Profit is meaningless without purpose. Money is meaningless without meaning. And the business of life is meaningless without the the life of business is meaningless without the business of life. So I think we're on the precipice of a new role of humanity, which is to share with each other so we can become one again. Just as I talked about the notion of God's particles dispersing, I think they're coming together. Anyone else?
First of all, thank you. That was fantastic. And thanks for inspiring us to go into our weekend, into our lives. This is a little bit of a follow-up to what you just said. In '99, I read a book called The Experience Economy, which talks about, finally the experience economy has become a conversation that more and more people are having. What do you think as we move forward in the customer experience becomes more important than things that, price and features? What do you think the customer experience and brand and marketing, how are they all going to relate?
Great question. And we are in the midst of one of the greatest shifts in business and marketing that we've ever seen. And let me take your words. The experience economy. I would encourage you to think about not the experience economy, but the caring economy. Caring. Doing something on behalf of someone else's growth is what caring is. It's not opening an umbrella or a door. It's opening someone else's heart to what they can become and what they can do. So, yes, we have the experience economy, but we now know through neuroscience that experience does not change behavior. Experience does not change behavior. Reflection of the experience changes behavior. That's neuroscience. Reflection. And for reflection, well, reflection is the inflection between my intention and my contribution. If I have an intention and I don't contribute, that's called blindness. If I have a contribution, but I have no intention, that's called impotence. So the idea of bringing intention and contribution together to care more for society, to do business on behalf of society, and to reflect upon how important that is in society is really the future of humanity. It's like a wand.
Do you have a habit or something you do every day that helps you create courageous, creative thinking and makes it kind of something that you just do every day?
Well, I'm going to carry this around from now on. I decided, I was thinking just that before you answer that question, ask me that question, I'm going to carry this around. I think it's really important to lie in bed for a couple, 5 to 10 minutes and really think about how beautiful your day will be, not about the anxieties that are facing you and how you will face them. That's a waste of time. My mother always used to say to me before I went to bed, Joey, never lose in your dreams. And it stuck with me, and I've taken that to never lose in my imagination. So I would lie in bed more. I would set your alarm. And by the way, the word alarm is horrible. Someone needs to come up with another word, because who wants to be alarmed the first thing when they wake up? I mean, what's that? Like, how about a song or something? Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the mornings, and I get my head straight, and most important, I open my heart. And if you really want my most inner secret, I actually lifted it from F. Scott Fitzgerald, the writer. He believed that people who were romantically ready would be the happy people. He called it romantic readiness. And what that means is not ready for sex, because that's not bad. It's ready, and not just ready for romance. It's ready to accept the day and accept the beauty of the day and accept all the things. And he believed that when you opened your eyes with romantic readiness, your soul would follow. And if your soul and your heart and your eyes were open, then that goodness would come to you. That's religion for me. And by the way, I can tell you, it works. Because I can tell you when I don't do it, the other side works. So think about romantic readiness as your love affair with life and your love affair with your dreams, not your goals. You can't sleep with your goals. We don't have goals when we go to bed. We have dreams. There's a reason for that. Because goals, they come and go. And they're frankly meaningless. But dreams, they don't come true. They already are true. Thank you.
All right, let's give
Thank
a
you.
round of applause for Joey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.